Thank you so much. That opens up a line for you to hop on with Larry Perry himself. 844-580-9326 is the number to call. 844-580-WDBO. Victor in Lake Mary, what's going on with your Toyota?
Hi there. Yes, I drive a 2011 Toyota Tundra. It's an automatic, and every time it hits 25 miles per hour, I hear a grumbling noise in the something. I don't know if it's the transmission, but I'm thinking so. I release the accelerator, and the grumbling goes away, and hit the accelerator again, and it transitions smoothly, no other problems. Always at 25 miles per hour.
How many miles are on this Tundra?
173,000.
Okay, that's not bad. Have you ever serviced the transmission on it?
The transmission was serviced maybe 70,000 miles ago.
Okay. Victor, those transmissions hold up so good. I mean, they really, really do. If they've just had a little bit of love, if it's had one fluid change or a drain and fill in its lifetime, I expect to get 300,000 mile out of a Toyota transmission. In this case here, it's making noise on acceleration at a certain RPM. A planetary in the transmission itself could very well be worn and making a noise, but I'm trying to think, is this a tell me a little more about this truck. Is it it's a four-door, correct?
It is correct, sir.
Okay. Is it got the short bed on it, or is it the longer one?
It's the shorter one.
Okay. Do you know whether you have do you know whether you have a two-piece drive shaft or not, or is it a one-piece?
That one I do not know, sir.
Okay. Let me tell you what I need for you to check. And this is common if it's a two-piece drive shaft. If it was a longer bed, it definitely has a two-piece drive shaft. With yours, it could come either way. What they do is they'll have the drive shaft coming off the back of the transmission or transfer case or whatever. And is it a two or a four-wheel drive? Victor, is it a two or a four-wheel drive?
Oh, it is a two-wheel drive.
Okay, all right. It's probably going to be a two-piece drive shaft if it doesn't have a transfer case hanging off the back of the transmission. What happens is you'll have the front portion of your drive shaft coming off the transmission, and then what they use is a carrier bearing system, and then they'll have another section of drive shaft come off of that. Now, to go into the rear end. Now, that carrier bearing system that's on there that supports the middle of those two pieces of drive shaft has a bearing in it, and it's actually isolated by a rubber type of grommet that goes all the way around that bearing. And what will wind up happening is, in a lot of cases, is that rubber insulator that supports that bearing will just get dry rotted and start wearing out. And the next thing you know, you've got a drive shaft that's actually moving around a little bit instead of it being stabilized, centered. And what will happen is you'll get to a certain speed, and that drive shaft will literally start making noise, whether it be acceleration or deceleration. And sometimes it'll do, on decel, because the drive shaft's actually moving kind of side to side. It's not staying centered because that insulator that's in there isn't supporting it correctly. It's just that insulator, that rubber is just worn out, and it's starting to let that drive shaft move from side to side, up and down, and everything else. That would be more along the lines of what I would expect to find on this than a transmission problem, so to speak. And it being at just one certain speed, if it was a bad planetary unit in the transmission itself, I think you'd have more issues. But if it was a differential problem, a rear differential problem, you would have different issues. For this to be at that speed, say 25 miles an hour or whatever, and then you hear this and you let off and it kind of goes away. Faster, it's all right. Slower, it's okay. I would definitely check that carrier where the drive shaft is. I have a strong feeling that it's probably a two-piece drive shaft, and you probably have that carrier bearing. It's probably just wore out. But the way that you can check this safely is to put the vehicle in neutral. Turn the key. Turn the engine off. Set the emergency brake. If you want to go overkill, chalk the tires. Crawl underneath the thing and actually just grab a hold with it in neutral. And the wheels all e-brake on, everything else. Get underneath there, grab a hold of that drive shaft, and literally push it up and down, because there's no load on it at this point as long as it's in neutral. And if you can move that drive shaft up and down, and you've got some play in it, that's most likely going to be your problem with that. So, yeah, let's inspect that, and then if you find that what I'm talking about here is your issue, then it's going to need the drive shaft removed, a new carrier bearing assembly put in it, and then it would be a good idea to probably, if it's never been done, go ahead and put universal joints in the drive shaft at the same time. If not, all you're doing is waiting for them to go bad if it's got 100,000 mile on it anyway. Probably get you a good set of Moog or a Spicer or something U-joints that's got the greasable fittings on it, and throw it back in there, and I'm sure that'll probably take care of all your problems. If it's just a one-piece drive shaft, then you need to get a hold of me. Just Larry at magicmechanic.com, and then I'll go ahead and try to help you throughout it. But I think that's got a two-piece drive shaft, and a carrier on that is probably what you're dealing with. Victor, I appreciate your call today. Don't be a stranger. And Larry at magicmechanic.com if I can help you.
Thank you so much, Victor. If you want to hop on the air, get your question answered by Larry, the number to call is 844-580.
Hi, folks. Larry Perry here. For automotive information, maybe you got automotive questions on cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Maybe you're thinking about purchasing a used vehicle, and maybe you just want my opinion. Tune in to the Magic Mechanic radio show every Saturday, 3 to 5 p.m. on wdbo.com. Also tune in to our Magic Mechanic YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe. And we'll all get together, maybe fix a few cars while we're at it.